The state of men across the globe today is laughable. They are the weakest the world has even seen yet. With how things are going, it's only going to get worse with time. This isn't an exaggeration. This is no fear-mongering. What I'm saying is the brutal reality. What determines strength or weakness in an individual is the surrounding they're raised in. Ever since the dawn of time, the environment had been tough and rugged. In order to prosper, or even simply survive, one would need to be stronger, quicker, smarter than the others. As Darwin would put it, it was strictly survival of the fittest. In that environment, there was no place to be weak. Everyone you see around you today, they had ancestors who were the strongest of the bunch. Yes, every single one around you. That's how their family line is still existing. There are probably billions whose families got wiped out owing to their weakness. It's simply a work of nature. If you possess any of these, I strongly encourage you to get your mess together. If not for yourself, then all those who fought to get you till here. Without any further ado, let's get into it. The very first sign of weakness is an addiction to fapping. Brothers, an addiction to anything is a no-go, but an addiction to fapping is destructive on another scale. It might not give you any cancers, but it does something much worse. It destroys your inner drive. The inner drive which powers humans to excel, set boundaries, and go beyond their limits. It does that by frying up and completely destroying your brain's pleasure receptors. In your mind, there are cells which bear the responsibility of releasing these hormones which induce that feeling of pleasure. These hormones are released in a very systematic order. Whenever you eat something when you're hungry, these cells release these hormones, which make you feel good about what you just did. When you're cold and you put on a jacket, these hormones again appear in order to tell you that you did the right thing, that you should do more of it. When you mate with a woman, these hormones appear yet again as they tell you, good job in spreading your seed, you should do it more often. It's a primal instinct which ensures the transfer of your genetic makeup to the next generation, and that you aren't of those that get wiped out. Us humans, we're nothing more than mere chemical reactions happening in our body. Therefore, make sure you're not manipulating your hormones and let them be as natural as possible. That's your safest bet to remain a hungry beast out to devour. Otherwise, you'll be lost in the world of sedentary living. Next, the second sign of weakness in a man. And that's poor time management. This is an unmistakable sign of a guy not at the top of his game. Lousy time management. The most important resource in life is time, not money. And guess what? Both the rich and poor have the same amount of time in their day. High-value men value their time and know how to use it wisely. Constantly running late or struggling with deadlines isn't a show of how important you are or how busy you must be. It just shows how much of a mess you are and how things are out of your control. Strong, successful men take control of their schedules, prioritize tasks, and execute with precision. They might have 100 things to attend to, but they'll make sure they coordinate their time in such a way that they don't miss anything. If they can't do it themselves, they get secretaries for that sole purpose. That should let you know how important it is to be the master of your time, instead of being a slave to it. Sign number 3 of a weak man. Can't control his emotion. If you want to know what a man of strength looks like, simply look to any leader you know. Leader, I'm saying, not just a boss. A true leader, whoever and wherever he be, you'll notice they express similar traits. And the most important one of them is their ability to be in total control of their emotions. This is one of the most important, if not the most important trait, for a man of value to possess. If you don't have control over your emotions, you're nothing but a stray dog waiting for your emotions to drag you on your next journey. You'll be a vacant puppet, waiting for any puppet master to come along and play you like a fiddle. That's the story of weak men. They can't see any further than what they feel at the current moment. If they're angry at someone, they'll completely lash out and burn entire bridges along with it, only to be filled with immense regret in no more than a couple of hours. Brothers, you want to be in control of your emotions, not the other way around. It's the only way to ensure long-term consistency and the fulfillment of your grand plans. Next, The fourth sign of a weak man is one who partakes in gossip all the time. It goes without saying, you become a high-value man by possessing high-value traits. You've got to live the life before you get credited as someone of that worth. Think of careers like those of lawyers, engineers, doctors. Those folks spend years and years studying and training before they can walk around with a simple title. They work harder than those who've already made it in their career, but that's simply the requirement. You must live the life before you get the title. Hence, you must possess the traits of high value before actually becoming high value. And a trait of high value men is that they don't partake in gossip. Gossip is nothing but a low-value activity where you waste time making the most useless talk you can. Plus, if you're gossiping, it's a blatant sign that you're around the wrong people too. High-value men don't entertain gossip. They talk about matters which actually concern them, whether it's about their business, about a game plan, about their next move. Conversations take up a huge amount of time in one's day. You want to maximize what you extract from those moments. Like I mentioned before, you've got to value your time. You're not valuing your time when you spend hours gossiping about someone who's out there living their own lives, probably making major advances while you're immersed in your cheeky conversations. Lastly, the fifth and the biggest sign a man is weak is that he isn't fit. It goes without saying, how can you call a man high value when he looks like a potato, or can't even do 10 push-ups without falling on his face? In the modern world, big muscles don't have much of a practical use, unless you're in certain industries. But the way I see it, they now give a good base of judging who is disciplined and committed and who isn't. Maybe being a bodybuilder and having a killer physique isn't your priority. That's all right, it isn't mine either. But that does not mean you don't care for your fitness at all. Every man must have a good posture, a solid frame, and the ability to carry out entry-level military requirements. Those are being able to run a mile in 8 minutes, 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, and 5 pull-ups. That's the minimum requirement. It might seem simple, but you'll be surprised how the majority isn't anywhere close to being able to do that. Therefore, brothers, you might be overlooking your fitness to hone other aspects of yourself, but let me tell you, fitness isn't a choice to make. Nothing you work on is worth it if you're shortening your lifespan by not being in a good shape. That'll be it for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Stay blessed.